morning, everybody, and welcome to the Ahom Ballpark for day two of the 23 under European Championship qualifier B pool.
Good morning, baseball fans, and welcome back to the beautiful confines here at Allerhorn Ballpark in Paderborn, Germany. We're on to day two of the U-23 European Championships in the B pool. A quick recap from yesterday. Saw three lopsided games. The first game at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Sweden beating Ukraine 21-1, throwing a combined no-hitter against the Ukrainians. In game two, Denmark falling to Belgium 11-1. The Belgian pitching staff giving up only one hit. And in the nightcap, it was Germany 10, Lithuania 0, as the German pitching was just too much for Lithuania, surrendering only 2 hits. However, today, our morning matchup here at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll have the visitors on the scoreboard, Ukraine, taking on the home team on the scoreboard, coming out of Denmark. Both teams are in Group 2. Group 1 consists of Germany, Lithuania, and Poland. Group 2 consists of Ukraine, Denmark, Sweden, and Belgium. Today's other action at the ballpark in Game 2, Sweden will be taking on Belgium. And in the nightcap, Germany will be taking on Poland. As we now can see, the teams are lining up to take the field for their respective national anthems. After the national anthems, I will be back with the starting lineups.
Umpires for today's game at home plate are Daniel Wobolewski, first base is Vladimir Richter, and third base is Alexander Hartl. Please remove your hats and rise for the national anthem of the Ukraine. Thank you. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Denmark.
And we're back here as the managers exchange the lineup cards and some pleasantries. First, the starting lineup of the home team, Denmark. Playing right field, number 35, Ostrup. The shortstop, wearing number 2, Christensen. The center fielder, number 95, Glierup. Catching for Team Denmark, number 13, Gamara. Playing first base, Rasmussen. Playing third base, number 9, Rigtrup. Playing left field, Max Christensen. And second baseman, Littner, number 64. And the designated hitter, number 4, Donlin. Leading off for Team Ukraine, shortstop wearing number 6, Bermistrov. The first baseman wearing number 21, Kodakovsky. Catching for Ukraine, Shevtsov. And in right field, Leipak. The designated hitter, Lushaiko. And the left fielder, Sheremetya. Playing second base wearing number 14, Dmitriev. The third baseman wearing number 20, Styklov. And in center field, batting number 9, Nikolenko. On the hill for Team Denmark is number 8, Dane Reynolds. He'll face the Ukrainian lineup right away here in the top of the first inning. And pitching for Team Ukraine, wearing number 5, Yevgeny Rosko, will face the Belgian lineup in the bottom of the first inning. Home plate umpire for today's contest is Daniel Robolewski. A first base umpire is Vladimir Rishta. And filling in this morning down the third base line is umpire Alex Hartle. Both teams are ready, and Bermistrov is ready, and it's play ball. Bermistrov takes a breaking ball for strike 1, evening up the count. Little changeup that Bermistrov gets to and hammers over the left fielder's head as Bermistrov rounds first, digging for 2. He's going to get the Ukrainian offense started with a leadoff double here in the top of the first inning. Little changeup hung from Reynolds, and Bermistrov made him pay. That's going to bring up the first baseman wearing number 21, Kodakovsky. Reynolds getting Kodakovsky to chase a little off-speed pitch down and away. And Kodakovsky finds himself down 0-2. Runner at second base. And swings through on strike 3. With a runner on second base and nobody out, I'm sure Ukraine would have loved to have Kodakovsky put the ball on the ground, at least on the right side, to move the runner. That job is now going to be left up to the catcher, number 22, Nikita Shevtsov. Quick check on Bermistrov at second base as Littner, the second baseman, holding him close. Little tapper that's going to get right to the shortstop. Burmistrov scampers back to second base. The throw to first base is on time. Christensen took a little look at the second base before deciding to throw it to first base just in time. That's going to give Ukraine 2 outs with a runner on second base. And that'll bring up number 16, the right fielder, Mikita Leibach, as a quick check on Burmistrov again. A balk is called from field umpire Alex Hartle. That's going to move Burmistrov up 90 feet. And, of course, that was a no pitch. Another ball stopped by Gamara. Gamara did a great job yesterday, in my opinion, blocking balls and framing and throwing out runners, showing once again why he is the starting catcher for the Danish national team. That breaking ball is going to be called a strike. Getting Reynolds back in the count. Not an overpowering pitcher. Mr. Reynolds on the mound. Looked like he's working with a fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup. Gets a little swing and a miss. And that evens the count up here, 2-2 against Leibach. See if we see a breaking ball here. Burmistrov, of course, on third base after the leadoff double. Gets him down swinging. Ukraine strands a base runner after the leadoff double, unable to capitalize. We're headed to the bottom of the first inning with the score remaining. Ukraine 0, Denmark 0. And we're back here in the bottom of the first inning. Leading off for Team Denmark is number 35, the right fielder, Alstrup. That breaking ball floats in there for strike one. Fastball fouled away down the right field line. And Ostrup finds himself in a hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Good speed change from Roscoe. Slider swung through, blocked. Little errant throw from the catcher. Shevtsov, but Kodakowski picking up his teammate with a nice little scoop at first base as the first out of the bottom half of the first inning is recorded. That strikeout is going to bring up the shortstop, wearing number 2, Jack Christensen. As Roscoe's first offering to Christensen sails up and in at 75 miles an hour. Little tapper out in front of the mound. Roscoe over to it and fires it on over. Kodakowski catches the ball, and the second out is recorded here in the bottom half of the first inning. And that's going to bring up the center fielder wearing number 95, Loka Glierup. Breaking ball draws an errant swing from Glierup. That'll even up the count here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Glierup yesterday went 1 for 3 with a stolen base and 2 strikeouts. As that ball is going to be fouled back to the backstop, bringing the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. As I said, Glierup 1 for 3 yesterday with a stolen base and 2 strikeouts. Finds himself with a 1-2 count against Roscoe. A little breaking ball, a little off-speed offering that Glierup sends into the stands. And Roscoe, with a frozen rope, is going to freeze Glierup for strike number 3. 3 up, 3 down here at the bottom of the first inning. We're headed to the top of the second. The score remaining, Ukraine 0, Denmark 0.
Seit jeher strebt die Menschheit nach Fortschritt. Sie greift sogar nach den Sternen. Sie realisiert im Hier und Jetzt, was gestern noch unmöglich schien, auch in der Medizin. Die Zukunft ist bei uns im christlichen Klinikum Soest angekommen. Mako.
Mako ist ein roboterarm-assistiertes Operationsverfahren, was wir routinemäßig bei Hüft- und Knieprothesen einsetzen. Wie das funktioniert, zeige ich Ihnen am 14. September im Ahorn-Ballpark Paderborn. Der Eintritt ist frei, los geht's um 17 Uhr. Ich freue mich auf Sie.
And we're back here in the top of the second inning, and leading off for Ukraine is the designated hitter, number 2, Bohdan Lushaiko.
Number 2, Bohdan Lushaiko, batting for the Ukraine.
Lushaiko came into yesterday's contest a little bit later in the game, had one at bat, went 0 for 1. Hot shot down the left field line, and that's going to go foul. But that's going to even up the count here for Reynolds. At 2 balls and 2 strikes. Breaking ball is going to be scooped into shallow left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. As Lushaiko rounds hard at first base, and errant throw gets past the middle infield. However, both the right fielder and first baseman were backing up on the play, something every baseball coach loves to see is a right fielder backing up throws into the infield. That's going to keep Lushaiko at first base with a leadoff base hit, bringing up left fielder number 9, Ilya Sheremetyev. Gamara once again keeping the ball in front of him. That ball's going to get away, unfortunately, from Gamara this time, as the runner, Lushaiko, is able to get to second base on the passed ball. An uncharacteristic mistake from Gamara behind the dish is going to allow Lushaiko to move up 90 feet. The batter now with a 2-0 count. And Sheremetyev takes a look at strike one. Yesterday's contest, Sheremetyev, I believe, played in 3 or 4 different positions and found himself on the mound late in the game yesterday against the Swedish team. as he hits a soft line drive that's going to land at the feet of the shortstop, as the shortstop throws wildly over the first baseman, unfortunately for Denmark. A pump and a shuffle throw. That ball's also going to get into the outfield to the left fielder. Bit of a snowball fight here in the infield for Denmark. Going to leave that up to the official scorer to score that play. But what you're going to have here is a reached on an error and scored on an error on the play. And Ukraine finds himself with a runner on second base and the first run of the game. That's going to bring up number 14, the second baseman, Yevgeny Dmitriev. That pitch also misses the zone. And Dmitriev finds himself with a 2-ball and no strike count. Reynolds on the mound. He is not an overpowering pitcher. He is relying far more on off-speed pitches to get the job done. Finds himself in a 3-0 count with a quick check on the base runner at second base. Fires the ball into Lintner at second. A 3-0 breaking ball. That's going to find the zone. Kamara, once again, blocking the ball. The hardest working man in business, at least the business of baseball, is that catcher back there, as he blocks yet another ball. Ukraine has already scored a run here in the top half of the second inning, is now threatening again with runners on first and second and nobody out. As Steiklov offers a sacrifice bunt that goes foul. Another sacrifice bunt. Bunt is down, tapped out front. Reynolds over, picking it up, and on time, as first baseman Fred Rasmussen takes a check on Sheremetha at third base. Runners move up 90 feet, and there is now one out. And that's going to bring up center fielder Stanislav Nikolenko. That fastball offering is going to get slapped down the right field line for strike number one. Reynolds with a long look. The Danish team have their second baseman standing right next to us. A little slow chopper, a little tapper to the shortstop. Shortstop's with a pump fake that got me as well. Yeah, it was a slow ground ball to the shortstop. Gave a pump fake home. And as I said, the ball wasn't hit very hard. But because of the pump fake, there was then no play at first base. So that's going to give a run to Ukraine. and put runners on the corners for the leadoff hitter. The shortstop, number 6, Mikita Bermistrov, already with a double on the day. That ball's going to get past Gamar and head down to the backstop, as Dmitriev will score easily from third base. As Gamara does a little bit of maintenance. Once again, the hardest working man in baseball is the catcher. And we're only in the second inning, and he is already working hard here. And if you can tell by the sunshine here in the beautiful confines of the Ahorn Ballpark in Paderborn, Germany, temperatures are going to be ranging from 24 to 28 degrees. Light breeze blowing out of center field at about 20-30 kilometers an hour. It's a beautiful morning for baseball. It's going to be a beautiful day for baseball, and we're hoping it's going to be a great evening for baseball. If you have the opportunity to come on down and experience great ballpark food, cold beer, this is your spot to be. Once again, the 2 o'clock game, we'll see Sweden taking on Belgium, and the nightcap at 6 o'clock tonight, we'll see Germany taking on Poland. Gamara, after doing a bit of equipment maintenance, finds himself once again behind the dish. Reynolds with a 1-0 count facing Bermistrov. Bermistrov, not the largest man in the business, takes the ball upstairs, giving himself a hitter's count and 2 balls and 1 strike as Nikolenko leads off of second base. That ball is going to get scooped into shallow left field. It's going to get down for a base hit as Bermistrov rounds first base hard. Little soft line drive, scooped up into left field. Unfortunately for Ukraine, Nikolenko only able to move up 90 feet. That base hit is now going to bring up the first baseman, number 21, Daniel Kodakovsky. As a check on Bermistrov at first base is not on time. Bermistrov able to get back. That ball is going to get popped up into left field. Left fielder underneath the ball makes the grab. That's going to allow Nikolenko to tag up and score. Sacrifice fly for Kodakovsky. Puts another run on the board for Ukraine, and they are now leading 4-0. Bermistrov off on the pitch. Throw was on time. Unfortunately for Denmark, Littner unable to come up with the handles on the ball. Great throw from Gamara. However, Bermistrov able to move up 90 feet into scoring position with 2 outs and an 0-1 count on Shevtsov. Ball hit deep into center field. Carrying out there and drifting back on it is the center fielder. Gleerup makes the catch. That's going to do it for us here in the top of the second inning. Ukraine with an offensive onslaught, scoring 4 runs in the top of the second inning. We're headed to the bottom of the second. Ukraine 4, Denmark 0. And we're back here in the bottom half of the second inning, and leading off for Denmark, the hardest working man for the Danish team right now, catcher number 13, Max Gamara. That fastball taken upstairs for 1 ball and no strikes. Gamara yesterday went 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a walk in yesterday's loss. Little breaking ball is going to sail up and in on Roscoe. Of course, after Gamara is first baseman number 44, Fred Rasmussen, on deck. Fastball sizzles in there at 75 past Gamara. Little tapper that's going to get out to Burmistrov at shortstop, who fires on to Kodakowski. Great backup from the Ukrainian catcher. That 6-3 out is going to give Denmark their first out of the inning, as first baseman number 44, Fred Rasmussen, comes up to bat with third baseman number 9, Retrip, on deck. That off-speed offering just missing the top of the zone. Both pitchers today with fastballs in the mid-70s, not overpowering stuff, but both are attempting to get outs with off-speed pitches down in the zone. As that fastball clips the bottom of the zone for strike number 2. That slider is going to go down and away for ball number 2, evening up the count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's see if Roscoe goes back to the fastball or with another breaking ball. Here's the offering. Breaking ball. Missing upstairs, running the count full. The defense for both teams pretty straight up today. In both contests yesterday, mostly the outfield and infield played to the pull side. Today with a normal defensive lineup playing straight up. That fastball fouled back, keeping the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That fastball just missing. Shevtsov, the catcher, really wanted that call. Unfortunately for Ukraine, but fortunately for Denmark, that walk's going to give a 1-out base runner in the bottom of the 2nd inning for Denmark. Brings up to bat third baseman Matthias Riegtrup with left fielder number 93, Max Christensen, on deck. That first pitch just missing high. Roscoe evening up the count at 1-1 as both players, runner and batter, take the signs from the third base coach. See if Denmark gives a little action here on this pitch. Quick check on the runner. Ukraine thought as well. However, that pickoff is going to get by Kodakowski. Rasmussen's going to move up 90 feet on the errant throw from Roscoe. That's going to give Denmark their first runner in scoring position with a 1-1 count and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Roscoe, having thrown a 3-up, 3-down first inning, finds himself in a little bit of a jam here, falling behind to the hitters. As both middle infielders are now checking the runner at second base. Tapped foul down the left field line. We're going to do it again as Riegtrup stays alive with the 2-2 count with 1 out. And Rasmussen leading off of second base. And our first Louisiana Bayou at 77 miles an hour is going to send Riegtrup back to the dugout with a strikeout. And that's going to bring up the left fielder wearing number 93, Max Christensen. Fastball popped up, but it's going to land foul. Of course, Christensen up to bat with second baseman number 64, Oliver Littner, on deck. That's going to be strike two on Christensen. In yesterday's contest, Christensen was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Finds himself Allison Chain style down in a hole, 0-2 against Roscoe. That breaking ball is going to lock him up and sit him down. Get that young man a paintbrush. He's hitting the corners. That strikeout is going to send us to the top half of the third inning with the score Ukraine 4, Denmark 0. And we're back here in the top half of the third inning, and leading off for the Ukraine, number 16 right fielder Mikita Leibach. That little breaking ball is popped up by first base and foul territory. Rasmussen giving chase and is able to make the catch. That's going to be a one-pitch leadoff out for Reynolds here in the top of the third. And that's going to bring up designated hitter number 2, Bohdan Lushaiko. That pitch just missing the zone inside. Gamara with a slight hesitation after framing the pitch shows his displeasure at ball number 2. Good pitch, close pitch, but still a ball. And according to home plate umpire Roboleski, that's going to put Reynolds back in the count here now. 3 balls and no strikes against Lushaiko. Little breaking ball catches the bottom of the zone for strike number 1. That's going to miss downstairs And Ukraine's going to find itself with its first base runner here in the top half of the third inning. You can see here the beautiful confines of the Ahorn Ballpark and all of its majesty here. As off on the pitch is the runner at first base, and he's going to steal second base. Lushenko with a stolen base. Terrific jump from Lushenko. Nothing Gamara could do. Sheremetyev takes strike one. And swings through strike number two. Once again, Sheremetyev in yesterday's contest, the proverbial Swiss Army knife, playing multiple positions and even getting on the mound. Gamara, the hardest working man in baseball right now, saving yet another ball from getting to the backstop. Second baseman from Denmark, as you can see, standing right by the bag. He remains there during the pitch as well, as that ball is tapped up. Lintner giving chase from behind second base all the way to the right side of the infield, catching a soft pop-up from Sheremetyev. That's going to leave Lushenko at second base with two outs and bring up the second baseman, number 14, Yevgeny Dmitriev. Ball shot back to the screen for strike number one. On deck for Ukraine is third baseman, number 20, Matvey Steiklov. Little breaking ball tapped over the first baseman's head. Lushenko's going to round second base hard as the throw to second base. Dmitriev headed towards second base. Home plate umpire Robolowski signals that the run counts. Dmitriev very aggressive on a soft flare, little Texas leaguer over the first baseman's head. The right fielder Ostra picked it up and fired it to second base. Luckily for Ukraine, Lushenko was able to cross home plate before the tag was applied at second base. So the score will go Ukraine 5, Denmark 0. We're headed to the bottom of the third. And we're back here in the bottom half of the third inning. And leading off for Denmark is the second baseman, number 64, Oliver Littner. Ball taken up and away, making the count 2 balls and no strikes, with designated hitter number 4, Teo Donlan, on deck. That pitch finds the zone. As the pitcher, Rodzko, asking where that pitch missed. Once again, in baseball, everybody can have an opinion about the strike zone, but the only one that matters is the home plate umpire's opinion. That pitch is going to put a runner on first base and bring up designated hitter Teo Donlan with leadoff hitter right fielder Jonas Ostrup on deck. Roscoe starting Donlan off with a strike after the leadoff walk. Little sacrifice bunt that's popped up. And Littner is going to be doubled off of first base. A little bit of a miscue from Littner as the ball was popped up. And he found himself halfway to second base as the ball was caught by Roscoe and flipped on over to Kodakowski for the double play. That's going to bring up number 35, Ostrup, who is 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout swinging. That ball fouled back. He is going to put the count bunt 1 ball and 2 strikes. Little breaking ball offered at and fouled weakly down the right field line. Little tapper. That's going to roll foul down the third base line. Ostrup fighting off 2 breaking balls to stay alive as the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Good pitching fastball jams up Olstrup, has a little flare to second base. Short hop by the second baseman. It flipped on time. Roscoe rammed the fastball up and in on Olstrup. Got it in on the hands. Weak pop-up that found itself behind the mound. Great play by Dmitriev to Roscoe to get Ostrop at first base, ending the bottom of the third inning. We're headed to the top of the fourth. Ukraine 5, Denmark 0.
Hi, mein Name ist
In the top of the fourth, leading off for Ukraine, number 20, third baseman, Mativ Steiklov. And still on the mound for Denmark, number 8, Dane Reynolds. First offering is going to be taken wide for ball number 1. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the story. I was able to talk to the coaching staff of Ukraine as I picked a few of them up on Monday. That ball swung on and fouled back to the screen. And as we know, there are 20 young men representing Ukraine here today, and these 20 young men are all between the ages of 17 and 23. They had a 17-hour delay at their own border control to get out of the country, which prevented them from practicing on Monday night as that off-speed offering is taken upstairs, bringing the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. A 17-hour delay trying to leave Ukraine. We all know the political situation that is going on over there. But these young men are really happy to be here in Paderborn, representing their country and playing some baseball. That fastball clips the inside corner, evening up the count here, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Little off speed out in front, ground ball into the 6-hole. Scooped up and fired over Rasmussen's head at first base. That should go down as a base hit anyways. With Steiklov ending up on first base, unable to move up 90 feet to second base as the ball ricochets off the padding and back to Rasmussen. That's going to bring up the 9-hitter, center fielder, wearing number 13, Stanislav Nikolenko, with Steiklov leading off at first base. Nikolenko reached first base in his last plate appearance on an error by Christensen, the shortstop. That ball finds the bottom of the zone, bringing the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Runners off on the pitch. Nikolenko, little hit and run action played by the Ukrainians. Nikolenko unable to put the ball in play, but fouls it off. That foul ball evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. With the leadoff hitter, shortstop number 6, Mikita Bermistrov, on deck. Nikolenko able to check his swing. That ball in the dirt is going to give a walk to Nikolenko, moving Steiklov up 90 feet. The Ukrainians are in business here with runners at first and second. Nobody out. And shortstop Mikita Berstrov up to bat, already 2 for 2 on the day. Bunt attempt. That's going to go foul. Bermistrov with a double back in the first inning and added another hit in his second at bat. Littner, the second baseman, holding the runner at second base. Bermistrov with another bunt offering, pulling back in time for ball number 1 with an even count of 1 ball and 1 strike. There is a massive hole on the right side of the Danish infield as Littner is holding the runner at second base and third baseman creeping in. Bermistrov squaring around to bunt but pulling back in time as that breaking ball misses upstairs. Shortstop Christensen also playing halfway in as Bermistrov once again offers the bunt but pulls it back in time. And he finds himself with a 3 ball and 1 strike count. Let's see if the Ukrainians keep the bunt on. This time the bunt is put down. Little slow tapper. Gamara, the hardest working man in baseball today for the Danish team, out of the crouch in time, picks up the ball, throws it on time to Rasmussen, and a sacrifice bunt for Bermistrov. And that's going to move the runners up 90 feet. For first baseman, number 21, Daniel Kodakowski. Off speed, floats in there, up and out of the zone. Kodakowski on the day with a strikeout swinging and a sacrifice fly into left field. That off-speed offering clips the outside corner, getting Reynolds back in the count with a 2 ball and 1 strike count, with Nikolenko leading off of second base and Steiklov leading off of third. Middle infield from Denmark playing more straight up as Littner is no longer holding Nikolenko on second base. Kodakowski finds himself with a 3 ball and 1 strike count, with catcher Shetsov on deck. That ball's going to get past Gamara. In Steichloff's going to score. Nikolenko's going to move up 90 feet to third base as Kodakowski finds himself on first base with a walk. That's going to give the Ukrainians another run as they now lead 6-0. Once again, that's going to bring up the catcher, number 22, Nikita Shevtsov. The Ukrainians are going to have a pinch runner for Kodakowski at first base. Shevtsov gave it a ride into left field. Gets past the diving left fielder. A 1 RBI base hit that's also going to move up the pinch runner to third base. And Shevtsov's got himself a double. Left fielder gave chase, made a great effort at trying to catch the ball, but unfortunately for Denmark, it got down and past him. Runner is able to move up. Pinch running is number 8, Artem Holubitsky. Kodakowski's day is going to be done. As Holubitsky is going to enter the game. That double is going to bring up number 16, the right fielder, Nikita Leibach. And Denmark's going to make a pitching change. As now on the mound, shortstop Jack Christensen will take over duties for Dane Reynolds.
New pitcher for Denmark, number 2, Jack Vestergaard.
New on the mound once again is shortstop Jack Christensen. Replacing Jack at shortstop is number 96, Ford Schroeder. Christensen finds himself now with a 1-ball, 2-strike count on number 16, the right fielder, Makita Leibach. Christensen striking out Leibach. A big out for the Danish team here in the top of the fourth. Runners remain on second and third. And that's going to bring up number 2, the designated hitter, number 2, Bodan Lushaiko. Slow tapper to shortstop. Schroeder, newly in the game, gets the ball. Big round at third base. Rasmussen gives chase, flips on over to third base, but not in time. Big round by Shevtsov. Found himself halfway down the line to home. Good speed by Leibach. By Lushaiko. Great speed, beating it out. That soft ground ball. As Lushaiko takes off for second base, there'll be no throw from Gamara. As Ukraine taking advantage of a few miscues by the Danish defense. Score is now 8-0 for Ukraine as number 9 left fielder Ilya Sheremetyev steps up to bat. Swung on and fouled back into the netting here at the friendly confines of Ahorn Ballpark. Once again, beautiful day of weather here in Paderborn. Blue skies, tall puffy clouds, and a light breeze. A perfect day to come out to the ballpark as that breaking ball is going to lock up Sheremetyev and quell the damage here in the top of the fourth inning. We're headed to the bottom of the fourth inning. Ukraine leading Denmark 8-0. And we're back after that chillingly exciting advertisement for the U-23 championships here in Paderborn. A beautiful concept video showing the friendly confines here at the Ahorn Ballpark as Jack Christensen leads off for Denmark. Still on the mound for Ukraine is Yevgeny Rosko. Christensen finds him in an Alice in Chains down in a hole 0-2. Ball popped up behind the first base dugout. It's going to get out of play. Rosko going with the breaking ball again. Christensen 0 for 1 on the day with a ground out back to the pitcher. Finds himself with a 2-2 count against Rosko with center fielder number 95, Loka Gliedrup, on deck. Little jam shot that flares out behind second baseman. Not a problem for second baseman Dmitriev as he makes the grab for the first out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. That's going to bring up Gliedrup with Gamara on deck. Fastball swung on and swung through for strike number 1. Strike 2 on Gliedrup on the day, and his only at bat, struck out looking. Catcher Shevtsov behind the dish. Shades of Benito Santiago dropping down low on one knee with the right leg extended. Gliedrup checked his swing as the home plate umpire, Rovolowski, checks with third base umpire Alex Hartle. No swing is called, and we're going to do it again here at a 2-2 count with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth inning. And that pitch is going to lock him up and sit him down. That's going to give the Ukrainian defense 2 outs as the hardest working man in baseball, Max Gamara, steps up to bat. Gamar is 0 for 1 on the day with a ground out to shortstop. With number 44, first baseman Fred Rasmussen on deck. Ball fouled back out of play. Roscoe jumping on top early with a foul ball. Little ground ball gets past the pitcher. Not going to be a problem at shortstop, but Mistrov is there on time, fielded on time cleanly as he throws the ball over to the first baseman. And now playing first base is Taras Kovalenko, who's unable to come up with the ball that was thrown to him. Could have been a bad air hop. There is a little bit of wind here in Paderborn. And that's going to put a runner on for Denmark as Fred Rasmussen steps up to the plate. That pitch just missing the zone, evening it up 1-1. Little jam shot that's going to get through the right side of the infield. As Kovalenko was holding the runner, the throw from right field into third base. Not in time, as Rasmussen takes advantage of the throw from the right fielder to advance 90 feet to second base. As the first baseman was having to hold the runner on, a little ground ball gets through the right side of the infield. Leibach gave chase, picked it up, fired it to third base, not on time. Good base running by Rasmussen, advancing to second base. And the Danish offense is in business with runners at second and third. 2 outs, and third baseman number 9, Matthias Riegtrup, up to bat. Riegtrup jumping on the first pitch and hitting it foul, out of play. Strike 2. Riegtrup in his only plate appearance of the day struck out swinging. That fastball just missing the zone on the 0-2 count. Little slider taken down in the dirt, evening up the count here, 2-2 with runners at second and third, and 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Of course, Gamara reaching on an air, and Rasmussen reaching on Denmark's first hit of the game. Roscoe finding himself with more and more pitches being thrown. as the full count fastball is blown past Riegtrip for strike 3 and out number 3. Roscoe able to limit the damage to base runners only in the bottom of the 4th. 2 left on for Denmark. We're headed to the top of the 5th inning with the score remaining. Ukraine 8, Denmark 0. And we're back here in the top of the 5th inning. For Denmark, still on the mound, Janet Christensen. His first batter here in the top of the 5th is going to be number 14, Yevgeny Dmitriev. As Dmitriev with a nice little drag bunt down the third base line, the attempted bare hand from third baseman Riegtrip, unable to get the handles. A perfect drag bunt laid down by Dmitriev is going to put him on first base. And the Ukrainians have a leadoff base runner as third baseman number 20, Mativ Steiklov, is up to bat. Steiklov, with a sacrifice bunt in his first at-bat, found himself with an infield single in his second at-bat and is 1 for 1. Little line drive that's going to get past the third baseman and head into left field. Picked up by Christensen, gets past Riegtrip, but a good backup by a pitcher, Christensen, is able to prevent further advancement by the base runners. The Ukrainians find themselves with runners at first and second, nobody out, and center fielder Stanislav Nikolenko up to bat. Nikolenko squaring around early, showing bunt as Christensen steps off. Second baseman Littner for Denmark holding the runner as the shortstop Schroeder over to third. That bunt's going to get down to the third baseline, picked up by Riegtrip, and fired over to first base on time. Good sacrifice bunt from Nikolenko. That's going to move up both runners 90 feet. That's going to bring up shortstop Nikita Burmistrov. Burmistrov takes the first offering for strike number 1. He is 2 for 2 on the day with a double, a single, and a sacrifice bunt. That breaking ball just missing inside, evening up the count here at 1 ball and 1 strike. The double was a deep left field, and the single was a line drive into left center field. Little tapper that's going to roll foul, putting Burmistrov down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shortstop from Denmark playing into the pull side, as is the entire outfield from Denmark. That ball is going to sail out of Christensen's hand and get to the backstop. That's going to give you the Ukrainians another run and move up Steiklov 90 feet to third base with a 2-2 count on Burmistrov. Burmistrov fouling back a high pitch. Outfield has shifted even more into the pull side. However, there is a sizable gap in right center field. Little breaking ball popped up to second baseman Littner. That's not going to be a problem for Littner, as that pop-up out is going to give 2 outs and leave the runner Steiklov at third base. That brings up number 15, newly in at first base, Taras Kovalenko. That ball's going to get past Gamara, and Ukraine are going to take a 10-0 lead. There seemed to be a bit of confusion after the pass ball, as Ukraine now leads 10-0. It is still a 1 ball and 1 strike count with 2 outs, with Kovalenko up to bat. That pitch just missing the zone, running it to a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes, with catcher number 22, Nikita Shevtsov, on deck. That ball's going to get hammered through the left side of the infield, and Kovalenko is going to find himself on first base with a 2-out single. That's going to bring up the catcher, number 22, Nikita Shevtsov, who is 1 for 3 with a double. He hit a line drive in his last at-bat that the left fielder dove for, happened to get past him, ended up on second base with a double. As he takes strike number 1. That ball swung on for strike two. Allison Chain style. He finds himself down in a hole as Gamara makes a little check down to first base. Little pop-up fisted out to second baseman. And the throw is on time. That ball ran in on the hands of Shevtsov. Littner able to pick the short hop and throw it over to Rasmussen for the third out of the inning. That's going to do it for us here in the top of the fifth. Not before Ukraine able to add 2 runs with a lead. Going into the bottom of the fifth inning, Ukraine leads Denmark 10-0. And we're back here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Still on the mound for Ukraine. Yevgeny Rosco in batting. For the Danish team is number 19, Rasmus Dinesen. He is pinch hitting for Max Christensen. Rosco starting him off with a strike. Relatively low pitch count for Rosco at 68 pitches. He has kept the Danish offense in check through 4 innings, surrendering only 1 hit. That fastball finds the zone. On deck, that ball just missing the zone, evening up the count 2-2. Here's the full count offering from Rosco. Fastball. Swing and a miss. That's going to be the first out of the inning. That's going to send up to bat number 64, the second baseman, Oliver Littner. Littner is 0 for 0 on the day with a walk, as the Ukrainian manager has a few words for home plate umpire. And Roscoe to the set. Ball taken downstairs. Ball number 2. As mentioned earlier, Roscoe with a fairly economical day so far at 73 pitches. Has himself 7 strikeouts with 1 hit given up and 2 walks. However, there is some action in the Ukrainian bullpen now as one of the players begins throwing. It's going to be a 1-out walk for Littner. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, number 96, Ford Schroeder. Schroeder, of course, entered the game as Christensen took the mound, leaving his shortstop position. And on deck for Denmark is the leadoff hitter, the right fielder, number 35, Jonas Ostrup. As that pitch just misses the zone. Again, here in the U-23 tournaments, these are all 7-inning games, and as Ukraine leads 10-0, if Denmark is unable to score another run, Ukraine will win by mercy rule. As Schroeder swings at a ball down, making the count 1 ball and 2 strikes with Ostrup on deck. Little reach back fastball from Roscoe. Missing up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and a runner on first base for Denmark in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ball hit deep into the right center gap. That's going to get down and get to the fence. As the runner is being sent home from third base, Burmistrov with the throw to home. A good throw would have had him. But fortunately for Team Denmark, that throw from Burmistrov was up the line and not on time. A little bit of a collision between Littner and the catcher. That's going to go down as an RBI double for Ford Schroeder. And that RBI double will ensure that there will be a 6th inning played, as the score is now 10-1 for Ukraine, with a runner on second base and a 2-0 count on the hitter. On deck for Denmark is the pitcher, number 2, Jack Christensen. Ball poked into left center field. The center fielder, Nikolenko, calling off Sharameta in left field, making the catch. That's going to give Ukraine 2 outs with a runner on second base as Jack Christensen steps up to bat. That's going to bring a mound visit from one of the coaches of Ukraine. Of course, Roscoe, having started the inning around 70 pitches, now finds himself with about 85 pitches thrown. And as this is a tournament that is going to last through Saturday, managing the pitching staff is one of the most paramount things a manager can do in a tournament format. Ukraine electing to leave Yevgeny Roscoe on the mound and face Jack Christensen with 2 outs and a runner on second base, and number 95, the center fielder, Loka Glirup, on deck. Fastball swung on, and a great play by third base coach for Team Denmark as he scoops up the ball and flips it back to the pitcher. Outfield from Ukraine, a little bit shallow played. Both middle infielders are well away from second base, as there are 2 outs. Nobody holding the runner at all at second base. As that pitch is called a strike at 1 ball and 2 strikes now on the hitter. Little slider from Roscoe, and he's going to pick up his 8th strikeout of the game, and that's going to end it here for us in the bottom of the 5th inning. Denmark able to stave off the mercy rule by scoring a run here this inning, and we're headed to the top of the 6th inning. And we're back here in the top of the sixth inning. As you can see, the beautiful flags here at the friendly confines of Ahorn Ballpark. Slightly blowing out to center field. A few changes for Team Denmark, as Oliver Littner's now going to find himself at third base. Matthias Rietrup is moving over from third to shortstop. The pitcher, Jack Christensen, has settled himself in at second base. And now on the mound, the man with the RBI double in last inning's contest here is number 96, Ford Schroeder. Schroeder is going to face the right fielder from Ukraine as the leadoff hitter, number 16, Mikita Leibach, with the designated hitter, number 2, Bohdan Lushaiko, on deck. And there will be a pinch hitter for Ukraine as number 10, Timothy Zadnapranye, is now up to bat. As the first pitch he sees, he takes downstairs for ball number 1. That's going to be a leadoff walk for Ukraine in the top of the sixth. And that is going to bring up the designated hitter, number 2, Bohdan Lushaiko, with the left fielder, number 9, Ilya Sheremetya, on deck. The Danish outfield and infield played to pull, as that offering from Schroeder is taken up and away for ball number 1. And that ball just missing the bottom of the zone. As a throw over to Zadnapranye. Not in time as Rasmussen applies the tag and Schroeder back on the mound. For those of you just joining us, the afternoon 2 o'clock game will see Belgium taking on Sweden. And the 6 o'clock game will have Germany taking on Poland. And that's going to be given a ball, and Lushenko finds himself with a walk and on first base, and that's going to move Zadna Prania up 90 feet to second base. We've got runners on first and second base with nobody out. And another pinch hitter is up to bat. As Zadna Prania steals third base uncontested. Now batting for Ukraine, number 4, Volodymyr Slesrenko. We got runners on the corners and a 1-1 count on the pinch hitter. That ball just missing. And on deck for Ukraine is the second baseman, Yevgeny Dmitriev. That breaking ball clipping the bottom of the zone, evening up the count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners on the corners. Once again, just missing the zone. Count's going to be full. That ball blocked by Gamara. But that's going to load the bases. Dmitriev with a walk, a single, and a drag bunt base hit in his last at bat is 2 for 2. Finds himself with the bases loaded. The third baseman, Oliver Littner, playing in on the grass close to the line. Third baseman Littner almost holding the runner on at third base. As that ball is popped up in foul territory behind first base. It's going to come and land foul. On deck for Ukraine is the third baseman, number 20, Matvey Steiklov. Breaking ball hit out to deep left center field. Glera back on the ball, makes the catch. Both runners tag from second and third in advance. That's going to give Ukraine once again a 10-run lead as the sac fly gets a run across and a runner from second to third. And that brings up number 20, the third baseman, Matvey Steiklov. Steinkloff is 2 for 2 on the day with a sacrifice bunt. 2 singles through the left side of the infield. On deck for Ukraine is the center fielder, number 13, Stanislav Nikolenko. A big hole on the right side of the infield. And the right fielder from Denmark moving over towards the foul line now. As that pitch is going to sail down and away. And Steinkloff finds himself on first base with a walk. That walk's going to load the bases. With 1 out. And center fielder Stanislav Nikolenko up to bat. That curveball finds the zone, evening it up 1-1. Little tap route in front of the mound, fielded by Schroeder, who throws it over to Rasmussen at first base, who's unable to come up with the ball. Would have hoped Schroeder would have came home with the ball. But as he fielded the tapper, he elected to go to first base. Rasmussen, having played in front of first base, was backpedaling towards first base as he tried to make the catch at first base, unable to come up with the ball. And Ukraine is able to score 2 runs on the air from Schroeder. And that's going to bring up shortstop number 6, Mikita Burmistrov. Strike call with a quick back pick from Gamara. That ball is going to sail up and in. Runners on the corners here with 1 out, and Burmistrov up to bat with number 15. First baseman Taras Kovalenko on deck. Schroeder now wanting to talk things over with his catcher. The Danish shortstop playing well to the pull side towards the 6 hole. Christensen, the second baseman, a little bit more up the middle. As Schroeder wants to talk things over with his manager, it appears something might be wrong with his throwing hand. It looks like there's going to be a change. It would appear as though the right fielder, Jonas Austrup, number 35, is going to come onto the mound. We'll get the rest of the changes, and we'll be right back. So we're back. Right fielder Jonas Ostrup has now taken duties on as the pitcher, and in right field, number 75, Alfred Filosof, as Ostrup's first pitch is going to go down in the dirt, and that's going to be ball 4 for Mikita Burmistrov. And now batting for Ukraine, the first baseman, number 15, Taras Kovalenko. And there's going to be a pinch runner for Burmistrov at first base. And that's going to be number 3, Oleski Hertsenko. That ball hit into the deep left field. Left fielder giving chase and back. Catches it just short of the warning track. The ball's going to get past the third baseman as it rolls to the catcher. Quick throw to third base. Not in time. It's going to be a sac fly for Kovalenko. And Nikolenko is going to move up 90 feet on the errant throw from Max Christensen in left field. That's going to give Ukraine another run. And it should be 14-1 for Ukraine. As yet another pinch hitter steps up to bat for Ukraine. That ball swung and fouled back to the screen. Now batting for Ukraine, Dmitrio Havalatsky. We've got runners on the corners. A 1-2 count on the hitter and 2 outs. As that ball's going to get past Gamara. And that wild pitch is going to bring another run across for Ukraine. Now leading 15-1. That's going to lock him up and sit him down. And that's going to do it here for Ukraine in the top of the 6th inning, but not before they can add on 5 runs to a commanding lead.
Seit jeher strebt die Menschheit nach Fortschritt. Sie greift sogar nach den Sternen. Sie realisiert im Hier und Jetzt, was gestern noch unmöglich schien, auch in der Medizin. Die Zukunft ist bei uns im christlichen Klinikum Soest angekommen. Mako.
Mako ist ein roboterarm-assistiertes Operationsverfahren, was wir routinemäßig bei Hüft- und Knieprothesen einsetzen. Wie das funktioniert, zeige ich Ihnen am 14. September im Ahorn-Ballpark Paderborn. Der Eintritt ist frei. Los geht's um 17 Uhr. Ich freue mich auf Sie.
And we're back here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And leading off for Denmark is the center fielder number 95, Loka Glirup. On deck is the catcher, number 13, Max Gamara. Little ground ball to the second baseman who scoops it up. A little mishandle at second base, unable to come up with the ground ball. Is Dimitrov. Although we do have a few changes here on the mound now for Ukraine. Number 7, Pavlo Melinklov. A little bit of a mishandle by the second baseman. He is going to put a runner on with Gamara up to bat as Gamara swings over a little breaking ball. Gamara is on the day 0-for-2 with a ground out and reaching on an error. Both ground balls on the left side of the infield. As another ground ball is hit right to the shortstop, newly in the game, and gets underneath the glove as the throw comes in, is cut off. newly into the game. At shortstop is Timothy Zadnapranya, and at second base, Alexei Hertsenko, with back-to-back errors from the middle infield of Ukraine. Melniklov finds himself with runners on the corners. And number 44, Fred Rasmussen, up to bat. And that's going to be given a strike, and it's going to even up the count here. 1 ball, 1 strike with runners on the corners. And number 9, Matthias Riegtrup, the shortstop, on deck. That ball is going to get past the catcher. Dmitrio Havlatsky, also newly in the game. That wild pitch is going to give Denmark its second run and move up Gamara 90 feet to second base. That ball squirts away from Havlitsky, and Gamara finds himself 90 feet away from scoring Denmark's third run. Sloppy baseball here from the Ukrainians in the bottom of the 6th with 2 consecutive errors, a wild pitch, and a pass ball. Ball in a shallow center field. Gamara's tagging up as the throw comes home. It's going to be a close play. Ball up the line. Gamara slides head first, giving Denmark its third run of the game, putting the score at 15-3. But giving Ukraine a well-needed out this inning. The score is now 15-3 with 1 out. And number 9, Matthias Riegtrup, up to bat. Riegtrup on the day is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts swinging, as that fastball is fouled back to the backstop. As the on-deck batter gets the ball, number 19, Rasmus Dinesen, on deck. Little flare that just gets over the second baseman, Hertsenko. And Riegtrup is aboard with a Texas leaguer just out of the reach of Hertsenko. And that's going to put him on first base as new into the game, number 19, Rasmus Dinesen, steps up to the bait with number 75 on deck. That pitch is going to bring the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes, with Riegtrip leading off of first base with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That's going to bring up number 75, Alfred Filasov, as the manager from Ukraine takes a slow walk to the mound to talk to his pitcher. After some words of encouragement from the manager, Melnikov's going to stay on the mound. And of course, the first 2 batters of this inning reached on errors. Melnikov has done an admirable job of putting the ball over the plate, but after the walk, finds himself with runners on first and second. Comes with a first pitch strike against Filasov, with number 96, Ford Schroeder, on deck. The second baseman, Hertsenko, virtually holding the runner on at second base, as that pitch is going to send Filasov back to the dugout with a strikeout. Once again, these are 7-inning games here at the U-23 tournament. And with Ukraine leading 15-3, the next out will end the game. Off to the end of the bat, foul towards the first base dugout. Little inside move from Melnikov. Of course, in a situation like this, up by 12 runs, I'm sure the manager of Ukraine would like him to concentrate on Schroeder at home plate. Vlatsky able to corral the ball and keep it in front of him. Of course, Schroeder entered the game halfway through and announced his presence with authority with a RBI double that got down into the right center gap. That strike flies in there, evening up the count at 2-2. Excuse me, on the last pitch, Riegtrip stole third base uncontested. That, for me, is a defensive indifference, as a 15-3 run, as the runner from first base takes off from second base. But that pitch goes down the heart of the plate. That strikeout is going to end the game. It's going to be Ukraine 15, Denmark 3. We're done in 6 because of mercy rule. Stick around or come on back for the 2 o'clock game. That's going to find Sweden taking on Belgium. The weather is beautiful here at the beautiful confines of the Ahorn Ballpark here in Paderborn, Germany. Come on down and get yourself a burger, a bratwurst, or even a panini. The beer is cold and the weather is beautiful. Hope to see you down here at the ballpark at 2 o'clock. If not, we'll see you for the 6 o'clock game tonight, as Germany will be taking on Poland at 6 o'clock. That'll do it for me this morning. We'll see you later.